Welcome to The Real Wine Show, a wine game show wrapped in a talk show, wrapped in a podcast about wine. I'm Matt.
And I am Chad.
So our first segment is kind of like Wait, Don't Tell Me. We're calling it Spot the Corker, where we read possibly fictitious news pieces and ask each panelist to decide if they're true or false.
The second segment is the emotive blind tasting, where instead of relying on the usual descriptors like what kinds of fruits, how much tannin or acid the wine has, we ask our panelists to taste the wine and tell us a story about the wine based on how it makes them feel, like perhaps a memory, or if the wine were a person, what kind of person would it be?
You know, think of it less of a game show and more of a wild discussion about the wide world of wine. So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
All right.
We'll start out with an introduction of the panelists for today. We've got, so we'll start with you, with Marshall. We have Marshall Wehr is here. You're in the wine department over at Plum Market, huh? In the
Yes.
Which
I
store
am
do
now.
you?
I'm in the West Bloomfield store right now. I started about three and a half years ago.
Well, you've been on the scene longer than 3 years. What do you mean?
Oh, yeah. No,
just at Plum in
just at
particular.
Plum.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They had a couple downtown stores. They just were opening up a brand new store in the Detroit Pistons building in the New Center area. That was so this was the end of 21, and their license wasn't coming through. So it wasn't until January after the holidays when they finally opened up. In the meantime, I was working the little downtown store off of Jefferson.
Yeah, right.
And then the COVID hit. Anyways, they
Did you get COVID, by the way?
well, not till like last year.
Oh, really?
But they moved me up to the Bloomfield store to work there for a couple of years, and then they had a lot of openings at the West Bloomfield store, so they moved me over there, and I've been there for a year and a half.
West Bloomfield. Okay, cool.
West Bloomfield store.
Yeah. All right, right on. Is Dennis still over there, or is he? I'm not in the.
Denny Walsh.
Denny Walsh. Yeah.
Oh,
sorry.
he's like the over.
He is still around.
Yeah, he's still around.
Oh, cool.
But he's kind of like overseeing. He's like the district manager. What do you want to call of the Detroit region of the Wayne County stores?
Yeah. Okay. Denny.
And then Rod Johnson's in with the Ann Arbor stores.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But he's still
very
there.
good.
Yeah.
All right.
And but yeah, it's a long. I've been around a while. So and my original I'm a pharmacist, a hospital pharmacist. So I was into chemistry and biology and such. So I just remember.
Did you ever do any like drug and wine pairings or anything like that? This is legit. That's a serious question.
Nowadays, it probably is, especially with cannabis. You get a lot of cannabis involved in that. But luckily, cannabis is not dealt with through the professional pharmacy.
Right.
Region. They have their own thing, which would have been a big headache for pharmacists.
Well, I don't think the state's going to let those two cross paths. I don't think so.
But I would just remember I was going to school at Wayne State for pharmacy, and I was in a biochemistry class. It was kind of boring. So I was reading a book during class on the science of the fermentation of wine. And I figure that's biochemistry. So
there we go. Nice.
That's good enough.
Was that the entree then, huh?
Yeah.
For the passion?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sort of.
Ah, cool.
Friend next to me was saying, "Hey, are you into wine?" I said, "Well, I'd like to be. It's kind of interesting." And he said, "You ever made any wine?" I said, "No, I've never done that." He said, "You want to?" "Oh, how's that?" He said, "Well, my dad, we're immigrants from Italy, and he used to
No
make,
kidding. Huh.
so every fall he buys tons of grapes and makes our house wine."
Yeah.
He said, "If you want to, he'd love to have the company." I said, "Hell yes." So so I got involved and made my first wine back in 70.
Wow. I was going to say, it would be so cool to do
Do you still have bottles?
No.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be fatalistic.
Yeah, probably. Well, cool. That's awesome, Marshall. Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks for coming out. That's great. Our next guest is Dave Landrum, the owner of James Distilling down in Detroit. But
How you doing?
Hey, Dave. I died in the wool wine guy. We're in a tasting group together, and I've known Dave for a long time, but Dave, thanks for coming out, man.
Hey,
we want
thanks for
the
having
people
me.
to know about
Shameless plug for
Shameless-
Two James Spirits. Check it out
for sure.
whenever you're in your liquor aisle.
Detroit's first
Detroit's
post-prohibition
first.
distillery.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Awesome.
So yeah, a little background on me. I guess, my travel to wine country, I guess, became it came through food, I think, first. My grandmother is from Alsace, and my grandfather is from Cabajal, Spain, which is in Zamora.
That's over in the western part.
So it's
Zamora?
about an hour and a half drive northwest of Madrid. And
yeah,
they,
that's like the Toro.
exactly.
Yeah.
And they met during the war in Paris. My grandfather was stationed there, and then they had my mom, who was born there and lived her first few years there before she came back to the States. So I was always raised with that European. We had really great food. Now that I look back on it, it was always just comfort food for me. But now that I look back on what my friends were eating at the time, like tuna noodle casserole, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man, we ate pretty good.
Something different. Yeah.
So that's kind of how it started with that and just flavor sensations.
Yeah.
And then
in the previous episode, we were talking with Nuria about that. She was saying, growing up in Spain, that, she didn't necessarily pay so much attention to the wine, but that it was always present.
it's always there.
Yeah.
So
it sounds like a similar
one of
thing
my
for you.
first wine memories is when I was at a restaurant in Detroit. The famous one down by the river. Oh man, I'm failing. Forgot the name of it.
Not the rattlesnake.
Yes.
Oh, so
Rattlesnake.
Okay, yeah.
So I was at the Rattlesnake.
That's Taylor's dad.
Taylor's
Is Jimmy
dad.
Schmidt.
Oh,
yeah.
awesome. So
She
so
was
it
on
was,
the previous episode.
it was Rattlesnake, and it was for my aunt's. I think it was her wedding reception, and I was probably 6 or 7 years old, and they were coming around pouring wine for the table, and the waiter passed me, and my mother looked at him and goes, and points to my glass, and he looked at her like,
Yeah, what?
what? and she's like, we're eating dinner.
He's like, I could go to
And
jail for
so
this.
I think back then, if you had if your parents were like, hey, it was like, okay. So he poured, probably like an ounce of wine in the glass. And then my mom poured Perrier in it. And then that's what I had. And it was like, I didn't even think about it. That's just, that was it.
Yeah.
And so it was always around. It was never a big deal,
Yeah.
I guess. Like Nuria was saying, it wasn't. I didn't really pay much attention, but it was always there. And besides going out to eat, it was very peasant. Like my grandfather drank like gallons of Carlo Rossi.
Well, it's a good thing Carlo Rossi came in a handled gallon, didn't it?
Yeah. So, so that's how it all started. And I went to Michigan State. There was a place called Beggar's Banquet. And this was early, it was like 90, 94, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was at Beggar's Banquet, and I was like, oh, they do half off bottles of wine.
Was that Thursday or Wednesday? Wednesdays, yeah. I
And,
remember that too. I was up there
and
a
I was
little
like,
before, but
oh, we can get a $40 bottle of wine, which was like a second growth or something back then, like amazing for $20.
yeah.
And so I'd go with 3 other dudes, and we'd all give $5, which was like our, daily food stipend
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
And we would get like a second growth Bordeaux, and I was like, this is awesome,
Yeah.
it's pretty good. And we just chug it down, but that's kind of how that,
Yeah, well,
spiked.
I will let people know that, from drinking with you, I mean, you're an aged wine specialist. This guy's a fanatic for aged wine. So maybe that's where that comes from, drinking those.
I do love, to me, there is nothing like a wine that has peaked, that's very old, but you taste it and you're like,
Yeah, for sure.
oh man, what's going on here? And
Yeah.
it just keeps going and changing, and it's still alive, and you're like, this thing's 40, 50 years old.
Those are special experiences.
Special.
For sure. That's awesome.
yeah.
Dave, thanks,
So,
man.
yeah.
I'm glad you're here.
Thanks
Let's-
for having me.
Yeah, let's hit our third panelist. Cody, maybe he's number one. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know the order.
Yeah, it depends.
He's number one.
He's number
I'm
one.
number one now.
Cody Formisano from
thanks.
over at the wine department at York.
Yeah, thanks for having me out. I started in wine similar to Dave, like big Italian family. Wine was always present. My grandfather always had a jug of red Colorasi or
Yeah.
like Pinot Grigio or something.
Did none of you grow up with Fortissimo? Am I the only one who drank Fortissimo?
It's a good commercial. Right?
Right? You know, a little plug. But yeah, then I worked in restaurants for a while, which I guess was weird at the time when I was like 15. My family was like, you got to get a job. And I was like, I want to be a cook. And they were like, what? Okay. Took me a long
And you're from
time.
New York.
Originally from New York.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rochester, was it?
New Rochelle. So
New Rochelle.
Yeah, Westchester County. Eventually started doing food. Got really into beer brewing with some of my buddies in college, and then found out about Michigan. Came out here on tour with like a punk band at the time, and I was like, wow, it's a really nice area. I thought it was so weird the first time I was in Ann Arbor. I was walking with my buddy Joel, and someone on the other side of the street was like, hey, Joel, and like said hello, and I was like, what is going on? Like, people don't just wave at you on the street.
Get shot for that.
Yeah, this is not good.
This is the country.
Yes, I was like, people are nice. I moved out here after I graduated, worked for Arbor Brewing Company for a while, then moved around, did a bunch of chef stuff, ended up at Spencer downtown. That was like the first place where it was like wine is non-negotiable. Like you have to know about it, and if you don't, you have to learn.
Spencer rocked the Ann Arbor wine scene wide open. That was great.
Yeah, it
great
was
days,
awesome.
heady days.
Yes, so
They're still doing it, of course. I mean,
they're still
respect
doing
to Spencer. We love them.
Yeah. So I had it was 2014 Donkey and Goat Stone Crusher. I bought a bottle of it recently from them, and it was great. But that was that wine that really I was like, whoa.
Does anybody know that Frank Zappa song, Jones Crusher? Anybody? Zappa fan? No. All right. Anyway, go ahead.
But yeah, after working there for a while, I ended up over at York. I was in their kitchen. But by that point, I knew I was like, I'm tired of making food. I did it for like 10 years. And I was like, I really want to focus on wine. So it took a while, to find an opening in the wine department. But I've been there now a little bit over 5 years. And it's been great. I'm going to be helping to make wine in Leelanau this fall.
Right, you're moving into the winemaking side. That's amazing. Yeah, you're certainly one of the preeminent characters, man, one of the proponents of Michigan wine around here. So
do my best.
Yeah, man, thanks
Go
for the good
Michigan.
work there. Yeah, go Michigan. There we go.
Absolutely.
Cool. All right, well, those are our panelists. So let's go ahead and jump into things with our first of our true-false questions. So I'll read kind of like a news-type story for you guys, and then each of you can respond whether you think it's true and false, or true or false, in sequence there. So we'll start off with this first one that we call Blend Baby Blend.
Okay.
All right, here we go. So a small producer in Châteauneuf-du-Pape is upending the appellation by producing a rosé using a blending, that is, of white wine and red wine method. Stealing a page from the Champenoise, Eugenia Eulalie of her eponymous domain, Eugenia Eulalie, has been winning acclaim for her Châteauneuf-du-Pape rosé made by using a dash of red wine to set the color of her white, a process that, while definitely non-traditional, is being argued as a breach of the 1936 prohibition against, quote, stained or discolored wine in the appellation. Eulalie, who is fiercely proud of her unique centenarian Bourboulonc grapes, argues the 5% of estate Counoise red wine, she adds, reflects the composition of the plots she harvests, and as such, were everything actually vinified together, would have a similar color to her blended wine anyway, so therefore it's not discolored. As one of the rarest French wines, Châteauneuf-du-Pape rosé producers are asserting the primacy of traditional methods in French court, and ruling is expected this summer, so this may be your last chance to grab some of this historic Châteauneuf-du-Pape rosé made by blending. So the question to our panelists here today is the Châteauneuf-du-Pape rosé in for a shakeup because of blending? They're looking.
Of all the places to complain
Marshall.
about blending, I mean, Chateauneuf does more blending than anybody I know with at least 13 different varieties they can blend
Right.
together.
And red and white varieties.
Yeah, red and white.
Yeah.
But so I'm really shocked that this would be a issue for, of all places, Chateauneuf. But they have strange laws there. They have one law in the book that says it's illegal for a UFO to land in the vineyards.
Right.
So
Is that real?
that's a real
Yeah.
law.
Yeah, that's famously echoed on the Bonnie Doon, what's his name? Randall
Randall
Graham's
Graham's-
label, right? The
Exactly.
Cigar Volant. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. I put out a newsletter. I'm really into wine news, and I put out a newsletter every couple of weeks,
Which is great, by the way. I think I've said expressed my gratitude to you for that
Thank you very
before, but I'll
much.
do it again here and
so
on the record.
I'm trying to remember all the readings I've had. I haven't run across that, and so I think it's probably false. but
Okay.
for
All
those
right.
reasons. But
False from Mr. Weir. Which
So-
of you guys wants to go? Dave is gonna
Yeah,
go. He's
yeah,
ready to
I'll go.
Chateauneuf du Pape Rosé.
Yeah. So is this? I guess what is the question? Is it? Are they in for a shakeup or?
Yeah, because of blending. Yes.
it's a true or false.
Marshall's driving the program forward. Let's.
Yeah.
It's a true or false, Dave. Come on. That's funny.
But the story is true. Is that what you're saying? This is
no,
a true...
we don't. No, this could be completely false.
Oh,
it could be
okay.
completely false.
I'm saying false.
Okay.
Eugenio Eulalie isn't that the thing that's like in your throat? So I'm gonna go ahead and say false. Just because of the characters' names.
All right. Cody, where do you want to fall in this story about
Yeah, I'm definitely
blending and
blending,
Chateauneuf du
yeah.
Pape Rosé?
Yeah, I mean, my first question was like, is the problem is that they're not co-fermented? It would be like a separate vinification and then
Correct.
blend?
We're talking about wine. Yeah,
Yeah.
blending
Yeah,
wine.
I don't see how that could be a problem. I also think getting a ruling in by like this fall seems like something that the French would never do. They're way too slow.
Right.
10 years to figure that out.
No, there you go.
So,
All
yeah.
right. So everybody's false on that
Yeah.
one, right? And in fact, it is false. It is something I made
Oh,
up.
all right.
But come on, you guys.
Points.
Wait,
All right.
nobody. Nobody. Wait, hold
nicely
on.
composed.
Well, thank you. That's not going to get you extra points because I'm like, you guys, Chateauneuf du Pape Rosé. There's no Chateauneuf du Pape Rosé. Anybody ever know?
No,
Haven't seen it.
but you said it was new.
No. I
Right?
was saying that the blending thing was.
Oh,
So maybe it's my fault for that.
well, no.
No.
Nice way of turning around
Yeah,
the host,
thanks.
Dave. Rude. Kind of guessed for you. But yeah, no, there is no Chateauneuf du Pape Rosé. So, and in fact, I also learned, I didn't know this, but blending wines is, for all PDO wines in Europe, it's prohibited. Except for the champagne. You mentioned champagne. Except for champagne, or one of you mentioned champagne. That would be the only place where you can actually blend the wine. Otherwise, you can do, Saunier or, light maceration.
Oh, and
Direct
rosés.
press.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, right. But you
Yeah.
can't blend wines.
Exactly.
So I thought that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things I wanted to ask about, too, relatedly to that, because I was thinking about, rosé is, of course, really has boomed in the past several years. And I'm wondering with, for the wine nerdy crowd, like, do you pay attention to the production method? Is that a relevant thing for you? I mean, again, I did not know that you could not blend for any PDO designation wines in the EU for rosé.
Champagne's the only one,
Yeah, except for champagne.
Yeah.
But I'd never really paid
Yeah, I
much
didn't know
attention. I didn't. Yeah. So it was interesting to me. It triggered the thought, hey, I never pay attention to how my rosé is made. I know if
guess
it's
I'm
Saunier
more
or
interested in the final
maceration.
product,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and not so much how they got there. But I,
Does it taste good?
yeah,
That's kind of
for
that's
base
kind of
wine.
A
where
basic question, right?
a lot of winemakers feel that if it wasn't the entire intention of the winemaking process, that it's not a real wine, real rosé. It's more of a, if it's Saunier, that's like a waste product.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But hey, whatever works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you ever pay attention, Cody, to how the rosé is made? Is it relevant to the assessment of the wine, or?
Not really. I was just actually thinking to myself, like, have I ever really like looked at a rosé text sheet and been like, what are they really doing?
Yeah.
When I was a buyer, I did do that. But
Yeah.
since, so that's 2010. So, for 14 years, I have not paid attention.
So as a buyer and you looked at that, what kind of decisions would that?
I don't think it was more just for like my personal knowledge.
Yeah.
Or if I saw like
Academic interest.
if I saw that I was like, oh, it's like orange or it's like really red or, so if it was like a color based thing, I'm like, how did they do that? And so I'd want to know what the process was.
Yeah.
But it never affected the way that I thought about it. It was always just taste.
Yeah. I was wondering if it was a blind spot for us with rosés, because of course we're so accustomed to thinking about, red wine and white wine, and they really don't have a lot of, there are of course many tricks, as we well know,
Yes.
To producing the wines, but we don't, you don't have to, there's not really these kind of gross, we talk about co-ferments quite a bit, and we find those interesting, I think. Is that fair to say that we elevate the idea of the co-ferment as something that's kind of good or maybe perhaps more interesting or more artful than, say, blending?
Note,
As opposed to, say, blending finished wines than aging and whatever. But doing a co-ferment, we say, it's something.
Co-ferment
So I just wondered if it was.
Stabilizes, bright the color.
Yeah. So you wondered if it was something that we're just kind of missing in the whole rosé evolution, if maybe it was something yet to come. I don't know. But that was my thinking there. So that was why I made up that whole question about Chateau Neuf du Pas. It's pretty good, though.
Well,
it was kind of believable.
It was really believable.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not trolling for compliments. I'm neither here nor there. Before we move on to the next question, let's just do a glass check. Cody, you've got something that seems to have an interesting hue.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Speaking of
pink.
rosé,
Speaking
It's
of rosé,
pink.
yeah, Clos Cibon. This is their 22 vintage, brand new, just landed. Just Tiburon, I think exclusively Tiburon. So Provence rosé, but obviously very different than the fruity.
It's extremely pale.
It's extremely pale.
It's almost moving more in the kind of amber
Yes.
range as opposed to pinking. But yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I think like texturally too, it has this kind of like slick, like oily quality to
Yeah,
it that you
that sounds
don't
good.
really get out of a lot of other rosés. But yeah, I love Clos Cibon every year, and you can age them, and they're fantastic.
Yeah.
The line.
Very cool. Who else has something? Dave, you're pouring a new one there. What are you putting?
Well,
in
I have a couple.
oh boy,
I have
this is gonna take a minute.
I
Go
have
ahead. I'm just
two interesting wines. I have Nathaniel Rose.
Oh.
Go Nate.
2012 Chelois, which
That's a Michigan old. Is that no? That's
He's up in Leland Peninsula on Sutton Bay, but
so
he probably made this when he was down southwest
yeah. Show
so he buys most of his fruit. At least he used to
domain Berrien.
from Berrien.
yeah. Okay.
But this is Chelois, which I'm not sure if they grew that, but it's it's a hybrid. It's vinifera and Lambrusco cross, so that cold hardy. And it's 12 years old, so it's really interesting.
And
then
get
I-
some of that.
Yeah, and then I have a 2019 Kohlfach ferment from Austria. That I thought was going to be a lot brighter, but it is a little.
You said it's Kohlfach?
What? I think that's how you say it.
I don't know. Like
Yeah.
you've got.
I'm well.
KOLFOK.
Yeah. KOLF.
Okay. Interesting. I don't know it. I'm not familiar with it.
So yeah, I thought it was going to be a little mineral driven, a little brighter. But I guess that is 5 years ago. So it seems like maybe a little reduced. You get some of that apple, apple cider mill
golden
kind of
apple-y
thing.
kind of thing. Yeah. But I just smelled this Nathaniel Rose. My first thought was that it smells corked, but then it transitioned into like oyster shell kind of real quickly. That's interesting.
And I think it might be a little corked.
yeah,
Because the cork was
that's a dog.
suspect.
Yeah, that's a dog. Marshall, what about you? What do you have in the glass or something?
Well, I didn't bring it in, but this is a Terre Rouge Roussanne from the Sierra foothills.
Oh yeah,
And,
cool.
It's definitely
Which
has
vintage is that wine?
it's 14.
Oof,
So
looks great. I mean, it's still sort of bright and
it's got a little color, just medium gold, but it's really lively. It's rich, and it's got that oily kind of texture to it.
yeah.
But it's got almost
What you'd expect from Roussanne, right?
you'd expect. But it also has a little bit of like petulance and some bright acidity on top of it. Really wakes it up. Really
Oh,
nice.
interesting. It's still,
And before this, I had Muscadet that Jason brought in. Wasn't it 04, you said?
oh, the Pepier, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
that's
was-
Jason Berthold speaking from the from the peanut
from the
gallery.
Rouge
And there's literally peanuts over there today. Do you know? How about that?
Saint-Raymond 04. He said it was aged on the lees for 4 years. And wow, has this got some richness? Oh, it's a 2010.
Yeah,
My mistake.
that's delicious.
But that was fantastic. I really like that. It's still bright and
Cool. All right. Well, some fun stuff to drink on. Always one of the best parts of this, I think, is seeing what people bring in and trying out some new wines. So let's jump into our next question then. Thank you for those insights on your wines. But our next question is Cava leading in organic viticulture. D.O. Cava's Cava de Guarda Superior, its highest quality tier, will make its last conventional harvest this year in 2024. In 2025, all Guarda Superior Cavas will be 100% organic. This elite category of Cava already adheres to the most exacting standards in the world for quality DO sparkling wines, according to the Control Board. And all grapes destined for the Guarda Superior designation must be hand-harvested from vineyards with a minimum of 10 years of age. Additionally, strictly limiting yields to a maximum of 4.9 tons per acre, extended aging requirements, and requiring vintage and disgorgement dates for all Guarda Superior wines. D.O. Cava also requires estates to comply with strict traceability audits from harvest through to bottle. D.O. Cava President Javier Pages says of the move to organic production that, quote, both the consumer and the market are demanding it, and already more than 13 million bottles of organic Cava are produced, 34.09% of which corresponds to premium organic Cava. Although pricing may increase to reflect the additional efforts and costs, producers are bullish, saying it would simply represent a fair market adjustment, helping to position Cava de Guarda Superior as the kind of sustainable, high-quality wine consumers prefer. So the question to the panel, is Cava de Guarda Superior going 100% organic for 2025? Hard-hitting question. Yeah.
well, I know Cava's often been disparaged because they didn't have any quality levels. There was the DO, and that was it.
Yeah, it was
And
for a
they
long
had,
time. Going back to like the Freshenet, remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that little sandy?
Cordenou and Freshenet.
Yeah, I remember those.
They had quite a few breakaway winemakers and wineries break away and form their own separate organization, and because of that fact. So I know they're making a lot of changes to it. I'm not sure exactly what the term is, but yeah, I know they were really getting particular. But so yeah, I think that might be a possibility. I think Spain, of any area, probably has a good chance of producing organic wines with their drier.
Oh yeah, less disease pressure and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
All right.
So I think that could be a true statement.
Okay. Dave, you look ready. You look like
Yeah, well, I've been thinking about it.
He thinks fast.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that sticks out. I mean, I want it to be true.
Right.
I want that to be true. I think the thing that sticks out to me is 2025. That's a quick turnaround to make that, to demand that, I guess.
Yeah.
But to try, everything else kind of, it should be true. It rings true, like that definitely is where the market is going. I think if they wanted to try to compete with well, you're not going to compete with champagne, but you know, if you wanted to get your foot in the door as a more serious sparkler, I think that's the way to go. If they're trying to compete with what's happening in the world right now, and obviously you see that trend of people going after organic, biodynamic, you know.
Not so much in the sparkling realm, though, really.
No, but I think they're probably following the, you know, the greater tide,
Major trend.
and
So,
so
you're
that I'm gonna say true with the caveat that 25 sticks in my head. That's a quick turnaround.
Okay. Yeah, we don't know when in the story we don't know when the process started, but
Yeah.
you're two trues on that. How are you gonna come down on this?
I'm gonna go true as well. I think also too it.
3 true.
I mean, if it's not true, it's definitely, like Dave said, it's something I would hope that they would be considering. I mean, my mind also goes back to, like, you know, Pepe Reventos leaving the DO for basically these types of reasons.
Yeah. In the previous episode, we talked about the Corpinat association, I guess.
So I would hope, you know, they would come around to this. But yeah, I was also under the assumption you're going to need at least 5 years to convert your vineyards over, let alone all of them.
Yeah, 100%.
But I guess, you know, there could be room for, like, you know, conversion to organic.
Okay.
But yeah, hopefully, if not.
Yeah, so everybody, you're all true on that then, huh? So 3 trues.
Yeah, you sound incredulous.
No. No.
He's like, because I made it up.
No, it's true. It is true. It is true. Cava is taking some bold steps to define itself as world-class sparkling wine.
Nice.
And I think you guys nailed that. You understand where they're
Kudos
going.
to
And so, yeah, you guys are...
We're 6 for 6, guys. This is good.
Do you think that... are they right? Is Cava right? Do you think that this Guarda Superior thing is going to have a knock-on effect in terms of the prestige of Cava generally, or do you think this is because this is going to be a tiny...
Well, as far as the organic thing, I mean, I've seen a lot of consumer interest in the natural, organic, biodynamic field.
Yeah.
And I'd say a good 10% of my customers are looking for that.
Is it a selling point at the premium end? Did you see it at the premium end? Because I see it in kind of like the general, the meat of the market.
That's fair. Yeah.
But when you get to prestige stuff, which I think Guarda Superior obviously will be, it seems like that we give it less play, I guess.
Cava right now is about $10. So how prestigious are you talking about? Yeah.
Oh, it could be quite expensive, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean,
The Guarda Superior wines.
And this would
How much
would
are
give
some
them
of those-
rationale for increasing their prices, which is what they need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, the Reventos wines now.
Yeah, how much?
The Reventos y Blanc, just like the basic one, 25. I think is like 25, 30, somewhere in that realm. And I don't see them, you know, obviously going down anytime soon. But, you know, like Marshall was saying too, I think it is a huge consumer thing that people come in looking for organic, biodynamic, lower sulfur. And I think to your question too, Chad, about like at the premium level, I don't think it plays as much, but at least from my perspective, a lot of times the premier wineries have already been doing that. You know, when you look at like high-end Burgundy and like Champagne and stuff, some of the better producers, they've been organic or biodynamic way before this was a trend. They just understood how it impacts quality.
Yeah, there's obviously big debates with that trend right now, you know, natural wine. But I do think it lends, especially if, you know, your statement was their traceability and all of this. I mean, I do think it lends to better methods in production, regardless of, you know, everything else they're doing. You know, they have to do a little bit better, in my eyes, anyway. So, but yeah. You know, Foyard, those guys, they've been doing it forever. They just never...
it was never promoted.
Promoted it. Yeah. And so we all, you know, people that like them and follow them, you know, they know that. And I'm sure, you know, those guys are kind of having a laugh at the movement because they're like, oh, we've been doing this forever. But...
and it kind of separates the artisans from the commercialized ones that they're just in it for the profit. So, hopefully that flushes out.
Yeah.
Cool.
Makes a big difference.
All right. Well, it looks like we have Anthony on. He's in the group here. Let's see if we can get him joined in for the next question. This is Anthony Taylor.
Bonjour, Anthony.
Yeah, let's see here.
Ça va?
Make sure if we can get him in. Yeah, he's in France.
Oh, bonjour.
We don't know if he's French. Let's see. Anthony, are you with us here?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Hey, welcome. Welcome to the Real Wine Show.
No kidding. My wife and I were just having a fantastic bike ride, and we got a little stretched on time. Sorry for being so late.
No, it's perfect.
You're about 300 points down on the show. You have no hopes of winning. I hate to break it to you, but
there you go.
yes. And yesterday, I was telling our panelists here earlier that you were at the beach down in Cassis. Is that right? Actually swimming.
That's right. Yeah, we were.
Oh, jealous.
Still a little chilly, but yeah.
Unbelievable.
But, yeah.
Well, that's great.
No, the summer is launched here. I think the weather's on the way. We're just hoping that we don't get any frost situations like we did in 21.
Right,
Between
late
now
frost.
and,
Yeah.
beginning of May.
Right. So, Anthony, why don't you take, if you can just give us very quickly, tell us a little bit about what you do. You're at with the Gabrielle Meffre winery down the Rhone Valley. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Down in Gigondas, exactly.
Gigondas. Okay.
Yeah. Been with Gabrielle Meffre for 25 years.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
just in a quick pod, American by birth, family moved to France when I was 3. Like I said I started drinking wine when I was 4.
There you
which is
go.
only half joke. And
Tasting, not drinking.
no, because they added wine to our water when we were kids.
Yeah.
But
That's funny.
yeah.
One of our panelists here today, Dave, was earlier telling about growing up with a Spanish mother. Yeah.
Well, no,
Or,
French.
I'm sorry,
mother.
French
my,
mother.
My mother's from Paris. My grandmother's from Alsace,
There we
and
are.
my grandfather's from Spain. And I have very similar story about half glasses of wine and filled with Perrier.
Exactly. Well, anyway, I survived to tell the story, but I mean, I've been in wine all my life. Worked in France most of my life, but I did work in New York City for 8 years for Seagram Wine Company, and then I was the head wine steward of the 21 Club in New York for 5 years before moving back to France.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, excellent. Well, that's so good. We're very delighted to have you on the show, and we have been underway with Dave, Marshall, and Cody, are your co-panelists here, and we're on to our next true/false question here. So I'll give you the story. I read the story, this kind of news type story, and each of you will have the choice after we've read it to decide whether you think it's true or false, and then we can explain a little bit about why you are choosing true or false. So if you're all set, Anthony, I'll go ahead and launch into our next question.
Aye.
Okay. So this one we call putting the green in green harvest. So underripe grapes, sunburn, botrytis, or mold, maybe smoke taint, or simply weak color. Have no fear, Flash Détente is here. Turn around 1 ton of distressed grapes per hour with thermal vinification technology. Flash Détente systems offer incredible flexibility to winemakers with suboptimal grapes, allowing them to capture revenue that would otherwise be lost. Hate seeing that green harvest rot on the ground? Turn it into salable wine with Flash Détente. Wine extracted with Flash Détente captures a complete release of color precursors and replaces traditional maceration. Flashed wines have, on average, 30% more color, 10% more concentration, and improved structure. The vapor, which flashes from the grapes, carries away undesirable grape volatiles, including vegetal methoxypyrazine. That's period. Vegetal methoxypyrazine. Flash Détente extracts color and phenolics while minimizing skin contact, eliminating smoke taint, and denaturing lacase, eliminating botrytis odors. Best of all, the output is pressed, sterile must, ready to be inoculated and treated like a white wine, so barrel ferment or cold ferment to capture volatile aromas usually lost in traditional red fermentations. Take it from Napa winemaker Tom Gamble of Gamble Family Vineyards, who turned wasted dropped fruit into a successful revenue center. A salt of the earth, waste not, want not type of guy, Gamble knew green harvesting was essential to make the kind of big cab people expect from California, but the process bothered him until he discovered flash détente. Thermal vinification of that partially ripe fruit was great, and the very first attempt made yielded wine good enough to sell off in bulk. Today, the Millkeeper label from the Gamble family includes up to 20% of wine made with this flash détente process and is nearing the size of their first line wines, Gamble family. The more affordable bottling has allowed Gamble to capture a different segment of the market and provide some economic stability in tough times. Don't just get on the circular economy bandwagon. Drive the bus with flash détente today. So that's our news story. That's our news story. And our question to you is the flash détente a real winemaking process that can be used to utilize otherwise lost
I think
fruit?
we should give this to our French colleague here.
Okay. Anthony, you're first up. You get first dibs. The
winemaker
panel
who
has
knows
deferred,
best.
the in-person panel has deferred to you on this one. What do you think about flash détente?
Well, okay. First things first. I'm not a winemaker. Okay, I'm a wine drinker. Our head winemaker has used flash détente. I know that my knowledge of the process is simply that it is a way of accelerating and shortening the process. I wasn't aware of the fact of the green. I mean, green harvesting, as most of you probably know, is just reducing the yield on per vine to sort of increase concentration in the grape bunches that are left on the vine.
Right.
And
called that because you're dropping them while the fruit's green. It's not ripened yet. Yeah.
Exactly. I think, from what I understand, it's you have to get it right in terms of when you do that, so that the actual energy of the plant is diverted to the bunches that are left.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not really familiar with the concept of being able to use those grapes. Now, I don't know. Maybe are they picking later when they're dropping grapes? In other words, the grapes are riper.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, well, that I don't know, but the only thing we need to determine is whether or not
the news story.
Yes, all we have is the news story. There's
true or false.
what we got.
Yeah.
What you heard is what we got. Yeah.
Don't think there's so much.
Well, I
concern.
presume it's a winemaker who was explaining that, right?
It sounds like a
It could be.
commercial, like the company.
It is telling you.
But flash détente is not a protected. It's not a what do you call it? A marketing
Correct.
brand.
No,
It's
correct.
a term. It's a
process.
It's a method.
Yes, and that was the
Yes,
question
process.
to the panel, to you and the panel, is flash détente. Yes, a
real
process,
thing.
a method used in winemaking.
Yes, it is, and I think, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes, it is.
again, that winemakers can confirm, but the process doesn't deliver wines that are able to age. If I'm not mistaken, it basically captures fruit and captures the structure, but it's not wines that are sort of high end or made to age.
Right.
So
Yeah. Sure. Fair enough.
Commercial juice, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah. And yeah. Sure.
bulk
sure.
wines. Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
made for.
Yeah.
So it looks like we've got
Bulking up
a true from Anthony on that one. How about for the studio panel here? What do you guys say?
As much
Marshall?
as I read, you don't read about it too often. Only a couple times, and I was really read a lot about it 7-8 years ago, and I talked to Lee Lutz out of Black Star Farms, and he's tried it. He likes it a lot, and so he's been using it. But yeah, it is a method that we hardly ever talk about. But I don't know if it's still used today as much as it was 10 years ago. But
Okay.
Yeah.
So another true. Dave, you want to go?
I'm going to say true. I don't have the. You seem very. That it's true. I'm just saying true because I when I was hearing your story, I just immediately thought of like being up at 3 a.m. and seeing a one of those like VH1 sale or like late night salespeople buy this brand. OxyClean guy, That's immediately what was coming through my head. And I was like, somebody definitely me.
If there are that many benefits.
Coming from the distilling world, we have something very similar and somebody's doing like accelerated aging. You don't need to use barrels. You can use these staves and we use microoxygenation and we pump it through, So I know there's people that have thought that up and they're like, how do I make money on smoke taint?
Right.
So I'm definitely going to say true. Somebody definitely thought of that idea.
Okay. So true. And Cody?
100% true.
100% true. You're familiar with the process
I've
too.
seen the machine.
He's seen the machine.
Tasted the wines. I'm very much not a fan. So the worst red wines I've ever tasted in my life have come out of those machines.
That's what it sounds like.
They're also like, I had a Napa cab that underwent that process. In the glass, it looked like gasoline. Like it was black, like completely, like
so
not red or ruby.
Used oil.
Yeah, like it was just black, pitch black, and it tasted so unbelievably nondescript. It was almost like beguiling how something could become so
concentrated, but so nothing at the same time.
Nothing at the same. Yes, it was like. Well, you stare into the abyss, and the abyss stares.
Yes.
Very good.
Well, no point to belabor this one then. That's 100 points across the board for all of our panelists because, it is a process. The Flash Détente is a legitimate process. Apparently, there are only about 6 of these mobile units in California. But, winemakers can bring these in and utilize, the ability, I guess, to isolate some of these off compounds from the wines. And the guy at Millkeeper at Gamble Family, what is his name? Tom Gamble. He said that after a few years of selling his Flash Détente made wine off in bulk, he began to realize how much people liked the wine from his green harvested fruit. And he found himself saying, quote, let's keep this margin for ourselves and start a wine program around it. So apparently there are some ways that you can utilize. It's hard to imagine how green fruit could be, but hey, that's how that works. And I found it interesting, and
my guess is that he's probably picking it a bit later.
Yeah, right. Like they must have a little bit of ripeness to them. They can't be completely green because he has to capture some positive attributes from the fruit. So. Yeah, and that gets to the question that you're raising, Anthony, about like when do you do the green harvest, right? Like, so.
Yeah. My guess is I can't see making wine out of green grapes.
Right?
If they're red grapes and they're green.
That's a big.
Right.
Yeah, that's a big problem, right? Okay. Yeah. So one of the follow-up questions here that I wanted to ask about was, we make jokes and we consider the manipulative side of that in terms of the winemaking, the romantic story about winemaking. And we kind of would probably, as wine nerds, turn our nose down a bit. Is that the right expression? Turn your nose down? Yeah. Is that
Turn
correct?
your nose up?
Turn your nose up. Yes, thank you. Turn your nose down. We would turn our noses up at this kind of a process from a quality standpoint. But, of course, we've been talking about some of the, just kind of globally, our conversations have been about, sustainability and utilizing, or what do we call it? We call it like upcycling, or co-products to getting the most out of of what we produce. And so I was just wondering what our thoughts were about this is there an effective story that we can tell about Flash Détente to the consumers from a sustainability standpoint? I mean, even these are not premium quality wines. Is there a story to be told there about, hey, listen, this is fruit that would otherwise, or even, or just generally, even not just the fruit, but look at other kind of co-products, like people who are extracting like pigments and things from pomace and
tartaric acid used as cream of tartar in baking.
Yeah, this kind of thing. Is there
I think if it was used for like an industrial application or something like that, then
industrial application.
Well, but just not to drink. Like I don't want to drink that.
Well, right, you don't, but I'm thinking in selling it to this, the markets, like the global markets in
I'm
general.
all about not being wasteful, but
Yeah, right.
I
That's
think
what we're
you
talking
could
about.
find, use it for like feed or something. There's got to be something, right, that you can do other than try to make it what
Into
it's
wine.
right? Like,
I see
I'm
what
gonna
you're
really
saying.
try to make this. It's like, no, you can't do it.
Well, you could take the grape. I mean, of course, you can take the, like, say, in the green harvest situation, you could green harvest. Maybe, well, Jason, you're not on the mic. It'd be, sorry. But I was curious about your thoughts on that. Anyway, we'll get to that in another episode. I was thinking, you can distill it. You're a distiller.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
you can take
Distill it.
green fruit juice, right? Like, and make a
Sure,
neutral
it's
spirit.
just all about sugar,
Cognac,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Or not even, I'm saying even if it's not good enough for cognac or not from
Industrial
cognac.
alcohol.
Yes, industrial grade
Yeah,
for fortification.
that's what I mean. I think it should be used
Amaros.
for like industrial applications.
We should not be spending our
We
efforts
should
with
not be
flash
trying to
detente
drink
systems
it.
trying to make
No.
it drinkable. All right.
Yeah, I
Cool.
think, yeah, on the consumer end too, it's like we were talking about the benefits of like, consumers liking organic and these kind of products, and I feel like it'd be I couldn't imagine having a conversation with a customer like, well, you'd never believe these were going to go in the trash, and then we put it in the machine. They're going to be like,
Yeah, maybe not so compelling an argument. Anthony, I'm curious. So at Meffre, what kind of wines? You're in Gigondas, so what kind of range of wines do you folks make down there?
We're based. Gigondas is part of the Southern Rhone. It's a well-known wine producing village.
Absolutely,
After Châteauneuf-du-Pape, of course.
Do you know my buddy Benjamin Gross?
Sorry?
Do you know Benjamin Gross at Santa Duke? Of
Yep.
course. Yeah, I keep meaning to come down there. He says he was up here visiting in Michigan once, and we were talking, and he was saying that he's on all these. Anyway, he gets a DRC allocation, and he said, "Oh, whenever you're down in Gigondas, come down. We'll drink some DRC."
So when are we going?
Yeah, I know. That's
Road trip.
yeah.
He took over from his dad, from Yves.
Yes.
Yves was a favorite of our old friend Bob Parker.
Yeah.
And Yves has a big character, and his wines were corresponding. Benjamin is a little more on the finesse side.
Yeah.
And, makes wines that are a little more a little more elegant, and of course more in tune with the times.
Yes. Okay.
People want red wines that are not quite so knock me down kind of stuff.
Yeah. And what is your style over at Meffre? How would you characterize your wines?
Like everybody, we've moved in that direction as well. Jeb Dunnock, who's a pretty well-known Rhonophile, and he thought our wines were like second or third in Gigondas now in terms of quality, which is nice to know.
No, congratulations. Yeah.
But more finesse, less alcohol, more fruit forward. I've been in wine a long time, and I do quite a bit of teaching, and I tell people, I says, the more you learn about wine, the more you realize you don't know. And it's a never-ending story, because people, you learn about lots of regions and about their wines. You say, oh, now I know everything about the Loire Valley, and then you go back 2 years later, and there's lots of new things. So everybody's changing.
Yeah. Are you folks Are you in the U.S. market? You also have that label, Fat Bastard. That's you guys, right?
That's you guys.
We do.
Ah, okay.
We came out with.
We
came out with that. I don't know. For those of you who are in the wine business for a while, Australians made a killing back in the late '90s, early noughts, with their wines arriving on the market, and everything's going crazy. And that style, the forward, lots of rich, ripe fruit, sometimes some oak and so forth. The just in your face kind of wines, which even them are turning away from today. But we had an English importer who wanted us to come up with a name that was not French, to sort of compete in the English market. And our winemaker, who'd been making wine in Thierry Boudinot, had been making wine down in Australia, came up with a term, because he'd been working with some well-known winemakers down there, and he'd spent some time. And it was a real fat bastard wine.
Mm-hmm.
And our English agent said, "Hell yeah, let's use that." So we put that on the label, and it was the first French wine that came out with sort of a fun name, or
Yeah.
off the chart name, not a
Yeah.
chateau or a domain or whatever. That's what he wanted. And
Is that still an
today,
ongoing a brand for you? Is Fat Bastard still?
totally, yeah.
Totally, yeah.
It's very strong in Canada, in the U.S., and
You got a lot of knowing nods up here. You said Canada. We all have, we like the Canadians, but you're like, yeah.
And it's always been a style that's it's a lot of it's never gone over the top kind of profile, not too oaky, not too sweet, but good acidity, very clean winemaking, etc. And that's still the case today, and even the market now wants fresher wines, more acidity. It's coming back again, which is we did lose sales in the between 2007 and 2015, 16, and now we're up again. So it's nice to know.
Well, good news. All right. Well, let's jump into our next true-false question here. And this one, let's see, which one should I do? Yeah, I'll do this one. We'll do one more of these. This is called, this piece we call Grapes of Change. Beginning with the 2007 Vite Adapt program, Bordeaux winemakers started exploring the possibility of introducing new grape varieties in response to climate change. Working with 52 Vitis vinifera varieties, the program aimed to quantify climate responses like yield changes and drought resilience. Based on their recommendations, 6 varieties, Marcelin, Arinarnoa, I don't know what that is. I'm going to go back and try it one more time here. Arnoa.
Obviously didn't make this one up.
Obviously didn't. Okay. Tourga Nacional, Castet, Alvarinho, and Liliorilla. Liliorilla. That's what it says, Liliorilla. Were approved for limited use starting in 2021. Plantings are restricted to 5% of vineyard surface and 10% of final blends, renewable every 10 years. Even more radically, in Champagne, the hybrid variety Voltis was approved, overturning a ban on hybrids in French wine, where many of the most prestigious wine regions had strictly limited grape varieties permitted for use in production. But faced with the growing challenges of climate change and consumer demand, several regions are buckling under pressure to allow a wider range of varieties into their hallowed vineyards. Some innovators have dipped their toes in experimenting with these newer options. Others are cautious, though, remaining tentative until more time and exploration can be achieved. It begs the question, how will these newly approved varieties really impact classic regions? Merlot may be getting too alcoholic in Bordeaux, but beyond flavor profiles, climate change means drought resistance and disease resistance are also huge concerns, as well as needing to find other ways to reduce increasing need for fungicides and other potentially toxic treatments. One way or another, winemakers need to adapt, and the dynamic grapevine is proving one of the best tools in the winemaking toolkit. So, our question to the panelists: are new varieties infiltrating classic wine regions in response to climate change?
Well, definitely.
Marshall, go ahead. Yeah.
Definitely Bordeaux is gone that way, and they're going to be incorporating that more. But even bigger is all the oversupply and under demand and the ripping out of vineyards now. What is that going to do to your maximum 5% planting? Maybe if you, after ripping out 30,000 hectares of vines, you might end up. That might be more like 5%.
Right.
But yeah, it's a.
But you're talking about just because of the glut or too much overproduction.
Overproduction and under utilization. So, yeah, Bordeaux is going ahead right now with tearing out vines, and other areas in Italy and California are considering it too. Lodi is in the process of tearing out hundreds of acres of vines. So, yeah, But yeah, that's
new varieties are
definitely going to be infiltrating. Well, I don't know how they're going to.
Yeah,
I haven't tried any of them yet, but I don't think they could be on the market for another 4 or 5 years. But yeah, it should be very interesting. Kudos to them for stepping up and trying to make a change and
Yeah.
French hierarchy that's very resistant to change.
Yeah.
So,
Cool. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Dave, yeah.
definitely true. If you would have posed the question though, did you say Voltis?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you would have
Champagne?
just said it's like Voltis being branded champagne, I have not heard that.
Oh, yeah.
So I would have lost that. But yes, in other regions, yes, 100%.
Okay. Anthony, Cody?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, similar thing to him. Like, yeah, if you would have said like Albarino and Bordeaux, I'd been like, no, that sounds absurd. But
Okay. All right. So we got true. Anthony, it's you're the last to weigh in.
To be honest, that new direction is pretty widespread now in most regions actually, even Burgundy, believe it or not.
Okay.
They're investigating. I mean, I haven't followed it extremely closely, but I know, for example, Burgundy. There's a grape that's traditionally found up near Auxerre called César, which is a red grape.
Yes. Yeah.
And actually has been traditionally part of blends for not Saint-Brie, that's white, but
Hypnol.
yeah, and they're realizing that that's probably a grape they could look at for Burgundy. But I mean, the Rhone is the same. What you just mentioned about Bordeaux, 5% and so forth, that's the same here. There's some hybrid grapes, the Marcelin and Caladoc, for example. Which have been,
Caladoc, yeah.
those grapes have been around for a while.
Yeah.
You're finding more and more. It's the same as Bordeaux. It's entitled it's permitted in the Côte du Rhône, for example, but not in the Cru.
Right.
So far, up until now, and in only I think it's 5% or 10. No, not even 10. I think it's 5%. So there's hesitations, but obviously people are trying it out, and yes, definitely. Here we have about 10 different grapes, if I'm not mistaken, that are being tested and are permitted in like Vin de Pays de Vaucluse and that sort of thing. So far.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yes, you all are correct. So again, 100 points across the board for all the contestants here today. That is a true statement. There's a lot
Ding,
of
ding.
ding ding ding, a lot of experimentation going on. I think in the U.S. context, maybe we don't notice it quite as much, because we don't have so much fixed, varieties and appellations.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of always poking around it, so we don't see it too much. But it's probably more clear in the European context where there are the distinctions are more rigid. So that's interesting.
Exactly. The rules, particularly starting with France, but also Italy and Spain. The rules written by the Institut National des Appellations. They're pretty. It's
Strict,
They're a bit heavy. They move slowly, but they try and make the right decisions. Of course, in places like California, and most of what's called the New World, things are much more flexible. So
right.
change fast. And like someone said there's always this huge economic influence in most of the New World wines. I mean, in France too, but it's just you're also attached to tradition a lot more.
Yes. Okay, cool. Well, let's. We're kind of getting close to time here that we need to move into our blind tasting segment. Anthony, unfortunately, that doesn't. You can't participate in the blind tasting segment over the call.
Trust me, I'm not lacking for wine, and we go through quite a bit here. So
I'm sure that's great.
Problem.
Well, I would say we'd like to have you back on again on the show here. I appreciate you coming and being our first call-in participant. It's been great, and we appreciate you coming. And we'll get in touch here after the show and make plans to do it again and kind of fine-tune it a little more.
Sorry, I'll try and get there from the beginning. It was just the weather was so gorgeous today. We really got stuck on our bike.
Yeah, Anthony, Chad, and I will make a visit, and we'll go drink some DRC together, please.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Great.
All righty.
All right, a plus.
Okay, guys, take care.
Thanks for calling in. Yeah. Take care.
Bye.
All right.
That was nice.
Yeah, that was super cool. So let us move then, gentlemen. You have on the table there.
Okay.
And Yes, in the
clean my glass.
yeah, it's our blind tasting wine. So let's take a little pour of that, give it a little taste, and give it some thought, and we'll do our emotive response to that wine. So again, not talking about the wine in the kind of traditional way of talking about things like structure or flavor profiles, but think about how the wine makes you feel. If it reminds you of, people or places, or if you would like, you can also talk about the wine as if it were a person. Like if it had, if you gave it, what do we say? Human characteristics? Is that the word?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Attributes.
Attributes, maybe, yes.
Anthropomorphizing.
Yes, anthropomorphize the wine, yeah.
Not
Like,
too
is it
good
a,
after 4 syllables? So.
yeah. Like, is it a shy child, or is it a gregarious showman? What is it? You could do it that way too. So I can see from here we have a kind of a nicely, it's a white wine with a nice little medium yellow there. It looks good. But that's as far as we'll go into the traditional things. But you guys, our panelists here, have just finished, or not finished, they're still at it, but they've had a chance to sit with the blind wine for a minute now, and let's hear these emotional responses to this wine. Who wants to lead us off here? Cody, it's time. You haven't.
Yeah, we'll flip the script. We'll
Flip the
start on this side of the table.
Yeah.
First of all,
This is for all the money.
This is for
by
all
the way. This is
the
all the money.
bills are in.
Because you guys are like neck and neck, so score wise. So somebody's gonna have to stand out, and the more creative and really, heartfelt expressions will be that's gonna be the decider.
I love this. This is very it's a white, obviously, but it's so super savory and really reminds me of just first time ever having a white wine with oysters, or even the first time just having an oyster. My grandfather loved clams on the half shell, which I still don't like.
Yeah, clams.
Yeah, he liked clams and oysters. But as a kid, we would go from my hometown right across Long Island Sound to Port Jefferson. Went to the same restaurant every time. He'd always get clams in the half shell and oysters. I was like, I don't know what this is, but it's gross. I was like a teenager. I was like, this is weird. Yeah. Tried a clam. I was like, definitely don't like this. I like it cooked. I love clams cooked. Raw is a different thing. But having an oyster for the first time.
I don't think I've had a raw clam.
I am a shellfish freak, and I love oysters. I'm with you on the clams. I have had clams actually in Madrid. I went to this little place, Esquina de Izquierda or something like that, and they did river clams, and
whoa,
I mean, it was rough to get through them. I mean, and I like fishy fish, and this was rough. So I'm with you on the clams.
Pick up the terroir of the river, the riverbed.
The riverbed, and this kind of reminds me of just having that clam sitting outside. It's super savory. It's really bright, and it's something that I could revisit over and over again. I guess it's different than a memory. If you could go back to it, you definitely would.
Wow. That's tremendous. Yeah. That's a powerful insight, man. Thank you. That's great. Dave.
As you said, it's white. We're drinking a white wine here. So to me, I do not think of clams.
You don't want to think of clams.
No,
that's
exactly.
You.
You're like I love this wine and I hate clams, and it makes me think of clams.
No, oysters. More oysters.
Okay, oysters. Yeah. To me this is I mean, it's so put together and luscious, and it's like I think if I was to describe it in a person, it's like Julia Morgan or something, this architect that is trying to that has this feminine style. So it's you got this really great kind of floral, pretty perfumey kind of nose, but it has enough of that masculinity it's like a woman playing in a man's world back in 1890. So it's and it's meticulously put together. It's lip smacking. It's delicate, yet you could have it with a cigar.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say It's like
You don't have to. You have to call it. Don't call it.
I'm not gonna call it.
Oh, you can if you
I'm
want.
just
I
gonna
got it.
say, yeah, it's like, yeah, I think of the elegance and somebody like Julia Morgan who's like fucking with. Can I say that? It's like
It's a family
she's like,
show, but not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. This is not a family show. You can edit it out.
Do I have any things like?
Yeah. There we go. You know, it's like, meticulously constructed, kind of pulling at your strings, but still driving what they meant to do while they were creating this wine. It's a Horatio Alger. It's a rags to riches, ragged dick. Here we go.
Cool. All right. So Marshall, how is this sitting you?
Get back to earth here a bit. My mind's been wandering. So, I played horn for 20 years, so I'm really
What kind of
into
horn?
French horn, classical music. I was into classical groups quite a bit, and so I listened to it quite a bit. And,
Renaissance man over here.
Yeah.
Pharmacist.
OG. So he
French hornist.
kind of bring.
You called for the pharmacist? Oh no, we wanted you to play a show tonight.
So I often bring it back to music. What kind of music sensations
Great.
does it
Yes.
bring up?
Go.
And just this past weekend, I was at a concert where they did Debussy's Prelude to the Afternoon of a Faun, and it's all this impressionistic French music where he's supposed to be depicting this newborn fawn waking up in the sun-dappled little opening in the forest, and almost makes me think of Bambi. But I mean, this wine's got a warmth to it. It's got a brightness to it, and it just makes me feel like a lazy summer day, dappled sunshine, kind of warm and
Awesome. Yeah.
and you can smell the flowers, but you can also smell the fur of the deer.
Yeah.
So it's just got this comfortable, very easy kind of presentation.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Easy, but it sounds, from what all of you have said, it doesn't sound simple
No,
at all. I
it's
mean,
put
there's-
together.
Yeah, you said that.
Very much.
You said that immaculately, but precisely or something put together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
precisely.
very purposeful.
Cool. Yeah. Does anyone want to venture a guess as to what it might be?
Chablis.
Nice.
HCB. I was gonna
I
say,
would say Chablis.
I'm gonna venture because we're all tied.
Right.
I'm gonna say it's a Whiteberg.
Oh, wait, Burgundy.
No,
Burgundy
Chablis is a
from.
white bird.
Yeah, I mean,
like not Chablis.
other than Chablis. Okay. Like, which one might it be?
So Côte d'Or.
Yeah,
Well, it had to be cooked.
Côte d'Or. You think? Like,
Côte de Bon.
man, you want me to get real specific?
Oh yeah, let's go.
Get real specific. Dave. It's for the win. So
Just
just
for the win. God, God, it's not that. Let's say it's a. I'm gonna go Polini. Let's go Polini Montrachet.
Pellini. Interesting. Okay.
I'll say
Cool.
We just had
Patrick Hughes is a producer.
we just had
Okay.
Domaine Drouin at Plum Market this week, and we're trying some of his Pulini and Chassagne Montrachets, and they were delicious, and some of his Maconnais. So
Yeah. For sure.
I will also say that this has a white wax cap, and I'm not familiar with it,
Okay.
like
and I don't buy anymore. So
You
it's
can't-
probably
yeah. The label's
It's
covered. but you can
probably
s-
easily deduced by a buyer.
like Patrick Puys.
Yeah,
perhaps.
there's not a whole lot. Cody, do you want to
Patrick,
do the
please.
unveil there?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Let's see what we actually have. Yeah. I'm not saying I dipped anything in wax, but I might have.
You're a wild card. I don't know if you wow. Yeah.
Patrick
Hughes.
Puy, yeah.
Which one is it? I'm sorry. It's
Côte d'Azur.
Côte d'Azur.
Côte
yeah, the
d'Azur.
Bourgogne.
That's next to Champagne. It's
2020.
just west of Champagne and
21.
next
Yeah.
to the village of Auxerre.
Cool.
So look at that Burgundy, but not Chablis.
Yeah.
There it is. There it is.
I think that makes me the winner.
That does, Dave.
I said Patrick.
I said Patrick, please.
Yeah. Listen. We're not here to say who wins and who loses, right?
Just delicious.
No,
It was-
it's very, very, very good.
Yeah.
What is that? What does that retail for?
30, 35.
Yeah,
Ah,
30,
steal.
yeah, 35. Yeah.
I don't want to plug for them, but that's a steal.
So
they
it's a
don't- yeah,
lesser
they don't need the plug.
appellation of next to Chablis,
Yeah.
but it's amazing. It would normally have that very crisp, zingy acidity that Chablis has, but again, nowadays it's kind of rounded off, got riper, richer, and
Yes,
I don't
yeah.
notice the acidity all that much. I mean, it brightens it up, but it doesn't dominate.
Yeah.
So this is a 2021. So we have, it's 3 years, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it drinks way older than that.
Mm-hmm. No, like you
It's
say,
rich.
it's really put together nicely.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Immaculately put together. Well, cool. Those were also, the wine's great, sure. But, your responses to the wine were also excellent. So again, it's across the board. You guys all just keep scoring. So
Good group.
I'm going to call this episode a tie.
All right.
It's a three-way. It's a
That's
three-way
a win.
tie.
That's a win,
win,
for
yeah.
everyone.
Oh,
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
there it is.
Been a pleasure.
Awesome. Gentlemen, thank you for coming out. Thank you for being part of the show, and we'll look forward to having you all in next time.
Thanks a lot, man. Great
All right.
time.
All right, guys. Everybody take care. Thank you. And, we'll see everyone in the next episode.
All right. Thanks, Chad.